Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new video, and today you join me on ACC once again, but this time we're going to look into a special video that happened in November 2021 and it made me the SRO Esports champion. Now, the SRO Esports series took place last year from early 2021 all the way through to November. It was me versus David Tinitza in the Ferrari, I was in the McLaren of course, and it went right down to the wire at Spa at round 10. And there was 2 or 3 points in it. I think I was leading going into the final round. 10-minute quali, 1 hour race, a grid of 30 to 35 cars, and a stacked grid, the best grid you'll get on ACC. Every alien, every good driver will be on this grid, and it's tough. There's a custom BOP, and to consistently finish at the front is really hard. But anyway, we're in quali, and I'm going to show you the best lap from quali. It was a 10-minute quali. The temps were ridiculously hot. I think it was like 32 air, 38 track or something like that. And I haven't watched this back since November, so this is going to be an interesting watch for me, let alone yourself. You can see in the top right corner, I streamed this race, and I streamed all the races pretty much. And you can see by my face, like, I know we're in quali, but I was particularly nervous on this particular evening because it all came down to one quali and one race. If I stuffed up quali big time, then the race is basically over. It's very hard to overtake on ACC, especially against drivers of this caliber. So the lap so far, turn 1 was a bit weak. Lecom looked pretty decent though. I just struggled with turn 1 on this particular evening. I don't really know why. I either brake too early or brake too late and missed the corner completely. Going in down this right-hander that's downhill in second gear, holding it into no name. We use a lot of curb. Seems to be the only car there that uses a lot of curb. Third gear, TC0 on the exit, so this was pre-V1.8 update, so you could do that, and there was a little bit more grip on the entry into corners. Poo on, TC0 again on the exit, down to third gear up to fourth, and a little bit of traffic coming up, but the BMW kindly gets out of the way, going into Piff Paff, down to second for the right, and I believe we got to third for the left. Yep, we do. Just avoid the curb on the inside because it's a bit slippy. Use all the track on the exit. TC0 very quickly on the exit, and then on this right, it's all about getting on the power super early. Use all the track on the exit because this next right-hander's flat, and if you can carry more speed because you've got a good exit on the last right, then you're going to take more speed down this straight. TC0 through that fast right just to not scrub any speed while the TC engaging, and going down towards Blanc-Chamon. You can see the times are not quick, 2:17s. I think the pole was a 2:16.9, and that shows you how hot it was. There was 30 kilos on the car, but still, you know, before the update, it was, you can see there for the chicane, we turned in so early. That Audi distracted us, and we just turned in way too early. We lost a lot of speed there, and across the line, a 2:17.3. So I did go for another run. I didn't improve. I think I caught traffic, and you can see there, I'm not happy. P14 on the grid, 2:17.3, 4 tenths off pole. So in retrospect, I think pole was actually possible. If not pole, then definitely top 5. But we made a bit of a dog's dinner of quali. And that's pressure. And, you know, I got out-qualified by my teammate, Murphy, and Tinitza got out-qualified by his teammate, DeSalvo. So you could say the pressure, you can see Tinitza on the right-hand side there in the Ferrari. The pressure got to both of us. It's natural. It's such a long season. It goes from April all the way through to November, and for it all to kind of ride on one race, yeah, it does get the heart going a little bit. But for the race start then, we're using the GT start procedure, so you just before Aru, just when the lights go out, and very important to get a good start, but not to overdo it. You could get a penalty if you when there you go, the indicator goes to the speedometer. You want to keep it in the green, but as high as possible, and then when the lights go out, floor it. There we go. Decent start, and Eau Rouge coming up, you want to keep it flat. If you lift going up Eau Rouge at the start on an ACC race, you're going to be done for. Obviously I had to be a little bit careful. I had a little lift on the entry to it, but we got a good start, and we're going down the outside of the straight, the Kemmel straight. Malinowski gets pushed off from Tinitza, rejoins, hits my car side on. Somehow we didn't go spinning round, and we lived to fight another day. Very close. I mean, this game with the contact model, it can be a bit dodgy like that, and your car can just kind of explode off other cars if you get unfortunate with a bit of netcode and stuff. But we do live to fight another day. We got the inside of the Mercury, runs wide, and we're putting pressure on the BMW. Tinitza then is 3 or 4 places in front. You can just about see him. And if he gets 2 or 3 points and we don't, or he gets 2 or 3 points more than us, then he wins the championship. So we've got to make moves. And you can see Murphy on the other side of the mic there. We were keeping the comms open so we could communicate throughout the race, which I thought was quite important. So I'm taking it easy, but I am sort of being a little bit aggressive because I have to be. Up the inside of the Merc Puron, and we're going down the outside of the BMW going into Piff Path, and we brake quite late with a full tank of fuel, and we get a massive snap on the marbles through Piff Path, and I thought I was going around there, I'm not going to lie. So going into this next right, we needed to compose ourselves and just take a deep breath, get into the swing of the race, let the tyres get up to pressure and temp, don't get a puncture, and where we are is not ideal yet. We're P12. Tinitsa had a really good start. He got up to like P8 or P7. So as it stands, he wins the championship, but anything can happen. It's an hour race. It's the last race of the season. The general consensus is, not everyone really cares anymore. They do send it a little bit more on the final race because it's the last race of the season. You've got kind of nothing to lose. And you can see a bit of a kerfuffle there on the final chicane. A few cars trying to overtake each other and stuff. And I think Tinitsa got through all that. And he's now P7 or P6. So really bad news for me. The only kind of thing in my head at this point was that thing with Malinovsky where he swiped him at the start. Like, was it penalty worthy? In my head, I thought there could be a chance that could be a penalty. So I am playing the patient game, the long game, and the Ferrari and the BMW going side by side then up to Eau Rouge. I think the Ferrari's going to back out here. And both of these cars in front of us ridiculously quick in a straight line in the first sector of Spa. And the McLaren's not bad, but you can see there the Mercedes behind us actually spun up Eau Rouge, which I didn't notice in the moment. But you can see my face. I look nervous, but I'm really concentrated. And I'm streaming, but there's no time for looking at chat or anything like that. So it's purely performance focus or performance based, trying to get the win in the championship. I'm not going to get the win in the race. No way you'd go from 16th to 1st in a race with this grid. But I can definitely still win the championship. So going through Blanchimont, we've got the Ferrari ahead of us and the BMW. I think it's Gregor Schill and De Salvo. So De Salvo is Tinitsa's teammate. I was being extra careful around him because you never know. They're not dirty drivers. They're not a dirty team at all. But if he's not going to leave me any space, put it that way. He would definitely make my life difficult trying to overtake him just so he can give David a fighting chance for the championship. So make a move up the inside of turn 1, or because we've got a better exit at the final corner, and going down to Eau Rouge sector 1, that Ferrari in a straight line is ridiculously quick, and I didn't stay with Gregor in front, so I don't get a tow. I'm kind of exposed now to that Ferrari, and I think we were running fairly high wing as well, so it's inevitable the Ferrari's going to come whatever way he wants. He's going to drive basically round the outside of me going up to the Lecomte chicane, and we can't do anything about it. We're going to let him go, and we'll try and get him back later. I'm not going to put it all on the line in one moment. You can see De Salvo's clearly got some pace. He drives straight up to the back of the BMW the next lap, goes for a move. Gregor leaves him no space, to be honest, on the outside, and they make a bit of contact, and but they're both okay. So De Salvo's a bit out of touch here. He's not on the right line, so we're looking to make a move. But again, he places his car very well. There's nothing I can really do about it, and I don't want to force it. If the championship wasn't on the line, I wouldn't be forcing it. So I try and keep my head in the same space as that. Like, is the move on? If it's not, tuck him behind, and we'll try and put pressure on to make a mistake. Or, I'm not going to force it for the sake of forcing it, because it never ends well, no matter what scenario you're in. Gregor clearly struggling for pace because the group of cars in front were getting away and they were quite close together. Gregor definitely struggling at this point. Qualified very well, but clearly the race pace wasn't really there for him. And me and De Salvo just can't get in front because that BMW on the straights, obviously it's the old BMW, not the new one that came in the recent update. On the straights, it was an absolute weapon. In the corners, not so much. In the wet, it wasn't very good, but on the straights, in the dry, really, really fast. So we're still fighting with De Salvo. We've got a Honda behind us at this point. Not sure who that is, but 37 minutes left of the race. Tinitsa, I think at this point he'd been given a 5-second penalty, which in this race, in this format, in this series, there is a mandatory pit stop between 35 minutes and 25 minutes.
Dave.
And it's mandatory... is it? No, it's no mandatory tyre change, so you can leave the same tyres on, which you do. But 1 litre of fuel was mandatory. So the pit stop itself was actually like 3 seconds long. I think because in ACC, the standard thing to do is go as long as possible, get the overcut, and then whilst everyone else is boxing and they are trying to get their tyres up to temp and pressure on the outlap, they lose a bit of lap time compared to the person staying out, and you get an overcut and you can make a few positions, if not close some gaps. That's what we were usually going for. The whole series, I think we pretty much did that. However, in this unique race with a unique scenario where I was a lot quicker than Gregor and Giovanni De Salvo, but I couldn't get past, I thought, we have nothing to lose here. Let's roll the dice and box early and hope they continue to battle whilst I have a clean out lap. And yes, it may be a bit slow, but hopefully it's enough to leapfrog them. I know if I can get in front, I can try and close the gap to the pack in front, but it's just a matter of getting in front. Earlier on the race, Murphy, his hardware failed him. So he qualified really well, as I mentioned earlier. He was running at the front, and he was kind of a lifeline for me to keep Tanitsu at bay to stop him making any further progress. However, his pedal broke. I think it was lap 3 or lap 4. His pedal actually snapped, and he was out of the race. So that was my lifeline down the toilet, really. But we're leaving the pits, and we have no idea how it's all going to pan out. I just need a clean out lap, a clean pit exit, which is not always the easiest thing at Spa, and a clean out lap, full push but not over push, and just hope we can leapfrog them. Tanitsu obviously served that 5-second penalty in the pit stop. Now, that, I think at the time he was about 4.14 seconds ahead of us, so he would come out statistically behind us. But it's going to be close. So again, I need to push really hard to make sure I stay ahead of him.
Only attempt.
And what you'll see later is very uncomfortable, where I'm in a Ferrari sandwich, which, yeah, I was feeling the pressure. And we make a little pass there on the Honda as they exit the pit lane, and we're going at full speed. Going through No Name, we're behind Giovanni De Salvo, and I believe if you look at the mini-map, Tanitsu is car 95, and he is still staying out at this stage. Another 2 minutes and 40 seconds of the pit window, so he's leaving it to the very last minute, hoping that he can minimise the deficit of that 5-second penalty in the pit stop. And just to remind you, that 5-second penalty was because he kind of sideswiped Malinowski on the opening lap, and then Malinowski went into the barrier and kind of rebounded into my car. So I don't think he meant to do it. I think it was just a crazy start. He probably didn't see Malinowski. He was probably in a bit of a blind spot. And, you know, it's racing. Stuff happens like that sometimes. But you can see in the bottom left, P8, De Salvo, Gregor Schill in front of us. Then there's a bit of a gap to Osterman in the Lamborghini. So the win's out of the question in terms of the race. But thankfully, Tanitsu, I don't know what happened in the pit stop, because he had a 5-second penalty, but he should have come out just behind us. However, there was a 4, or I think it was a 3-second gap with 25 minutes to go. I don't know if he picked up a puncture, or because his pace was really fast, but in the second half of the race, he just wasn't there. He just kept on dropping back. I thought De Salvo in front was going to back me up, you know, Sergio Perez style to Lewis Hamilton to help Max Verstappen in Yas Marina. I thought it was going to be like that, but no. De Salvo was keeping tabs with Gregor Schill in front. I was kind of, as the race went on, I started to acknowledge that he wasn't going to back me up. Tanitsu's pace wasn't there anymore, so I wasn't going to overtake anyone. I was just going to sit in PA and kind of take the championship. There was no real reason to do anything. Even on the last lap, though, I was kind of expecting something to happen, like De Salvo maybe just to back me off even more, but just nothing happened. It was really strange, and I think they might have missed a trick with that one. It's not illegal for the car in front to defend you. Like, it is, that is a legitimate racing. You can do it. Like, it's not illegal at all. And to be honest, I'm surprised they didn't. But you have to say that's very fair and very sportsmanlike for them to do that. Not saying I would or wouldn't. You know, it would depend on the scenario. But it's it's the top esports championship on ACC, and there's prize money up for grabs. So I just expected it to be a bit tougher, but yeah, still not making a mistake, and Eau Rouge in this car is never easy. It's always a bit sketchy, especially in the race as the tyres go off and the fuel kind of burns off. So I had to keep my concentration. You can see I'm starting to look a bit relieved as we go through Blanchimont for the final time, approaching the chicane, and De Salvo's properly putting it on chill now. Trying to go around the outside of the final chicane. I'm just trying to stay safe, stay away from contact, and he actually takes him out. Now, whether I think Schill maybe squeezed him a bit there, I can't remember who got the penalty, who didn't, but who cares, because we come across the line as the SRO Esports champion for 2021, and we are relieved. You can see there, we were so happy. And it makes me happy watching it now. I know it was last year, but SRO Esports in 2022 kicks off next week, and there's 5 races in 2022 instead of 10. The same alien drivers on the grid. I'm in the McLaren once again, and I've got Eamon Murphy as my teammate once again. And we're doing the sprint and the endurance series. I'll be streaming all of it on my Twitch, and hopefully, if the BOP, which is so important in GT racing, if it's on our side and we have a decent shot with the car, and if I can deliver, we can try and win it again. We'll give it a good go. It'll be tough, but we'll give it a good go. But yeah, thank you for watching the video. As always, I hope you enjoyed. The championship results will be in the description below, so go and give them a look just to see how far behind I was, and how I clawed it back by the final round to Tanitsa, who, by the way, an amazing driver who, you know, I should thank for having such a tough and enjoyable and fair season in 2021. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.